I was heading down, and on the opposite side to my right, there were woods. 3 deer come out of a game trail. They came out and walked along the tree line, and then behind them, a few seconds later, here comes a Bigfoot. This Bigfoot came out of the woods to my right. He stopped and looked at me, and then he went on. He had Neanderthal-like features where he resembled what we would picture as a Neanderthal from television and movies.
This is the Cryptid Creatures Podcast. I am Brian, and with me, as always, is my co-host Todd. What's going on, my friend?
Hey, man, did you see that posting on the BFRO about the Bigfoot sighting up there in Lawton, Michigan? Not too far away from us, actually, at all.
I did not, but yeah, that is not far at all.
Just happened last month.
Probably 30, 40 minutes. Not that far.
Yeah, not even that. We need to get a hold of the guy and talk to him and see if we can get him on the show and see what he saw.
Yes, that'd be awesome. Talking about coming up there and taking a look around. Right.
And looking at the maps of that area, you'd think, well, you want to see like a huge forest area. You know, Michigan's definitely got the forestry in the woods, but in that area, it's kind of sparse and more, rural housing. But if you look at the map, you can see where he saw this thing.
It's pretty dense.
I just would never figure anyone seeing one in that part of Michigan, that low.
It is
close to Indiana.
Very low.
Speaking of Bigfoot, tonight's guest has seen several of them.
That's right.
We're going to bring Mary on from Pennsylvania.
From the great state of Pennsylvania.
Got it. A lot of stuff goes on there, apparently. And she's had a lot of stuff going on with her, so.
Yep, she's heading up the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project.
She is, on Facebook, yeah.
Yep.
A lot of members on there, so. Let's bring her on and see what she's got to say. Let's hear her encounters.
Yeah, man. Let's get her.
Okay. Hello, Mary. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Thanks for coming on and talking to us today.
Great.
Mary, we were talking on social media, and you are head of Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
And what was it that made you start that?
Some encounters that I had. My first one was in 1967, whenever I was about 10 years old. And then about 30 years later, I had another, multitude of encounters where I lived. There was a Bigfoot that was harassing me at my home. And so that kind of cemented my interest and desire to learn more. And just, trying to find neighbors and other people in my area, who had encounters, with this particular Bigfoot. And I was unsuccessful. They weren't talking. So I just expanded my search out and, to the entire state of Pennsylvania, formed the group, Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project on Facebook. And it just took off from there. We have almost 16,000 members now.
That's great. Can I ask what part of Pennsylvania your encounters happened in?
Western Pennsylvania. In the first one was in Allegheny County, just off of my farm. And let's see, the second one, I've seen 5 total. And the second one was in Columbiana County, Ohio. The third one was in Beaver County, Pennsylvania. That was the one that was harassing us. And the fourth one was where I presently live in Lawrence County, PA. And the fifth one was in Oklahoma. I went out there on an expedition with friends and saw the fifth one out there.
They're following you all over.
Yeah, no kidding.
I hope not. Not anymore.
Well, why don't you talk about your first encounter? Tell us what was going on and tell us what happened and what you saw.
Oh, well, I was hiking. I lived on a 100-acre farm, and on the back of the property, there was a gas line. And I would hike along that gas line to visit with friends, who lived about a mile or so away. I took it as a shortcut. And so one day I was hiking along there. And Western Pennsylvania, it's all hills and hollers, up and down hills and hollers.
Mm-hmm.
I was heading down into the holler, and on the opposite side, to my right, there were woods, and on the left side, there was a field filled with brush, and this Bigfoot came out of the woods to my right, came across the gas line trail, and he stopped and looked at me, and then he went on. He was non-threatening. He just looked at me, and he had now this is 50 some years ago. My memory of his features is fuzzy, of course, but I do recall that he had Neanderthal-like features where he resembled what we would picture as a Neanderthal from television and movies. He, at that time, this was before the Patterson-Gimlin film came out, so I had no idea that such a thing even existed. I didn't know what it was. I just thought, what is this huge, hairy man wearing a fur coat in the middle of summer? What is he doing out here? And, I just thought it weird, but, hey, he didn't do anything or say anything to me, and he went on about his business, and as did I. But the memory stuck in my mind, in the back of my mind, for a long, long time, until it connected in I think it was about 2014 thereabouts that it finally clicked, that's what he was. That's what happened with the first one.
How far away was he when he crossed your path?
He was, I would say, directly across from me about 40 yards, 40, 50 at the most.
And you say he looked like a Neanderthal the most to you?
Yes.
Gotcha. Was he 8 foot tall, 7 foot tall, 9 foot tall? Do you know? Was he just...
Well, to a 10-year-old kid, everyone is tall.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
All I can say was he was big.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was bulky, built, husky, and that's about all that I can recall. But I was non-threatening. And,
Well, yeah, he probably saw you were a kid, and he was like, man.
Yeah, nothing here.
Yep.
Did you notice any smell coming from him?
No.
Probably not at that distance.
No.
So what did you do after that? Right after that happened and he walked into the other side of the woods, what happened then?
No, I just continued on to my friends.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, he was non-threatening, and I thought that it was a man in a fur coat.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you thought it was a person at that time, just strange looking person, and you went on your way. After you saw the Patterson-Gimlin film, you said that this happened before that. After you saw that film, then did you say to yourself, hey, that's what I saw?
Not immediately. No, it wasn't until, like I said, it wasn't until about 2014, and I was having my encounters with the one at my home, and I learned more about them and so on, that it clicked, that's what he was.
Tell us about your other encounters and happenings. What else? What happened next in your adventures in the Bigfoot world?
Well, the next one was the one that was coming around my house. I moved in with my husband in 2004. We married, and I moved into his home in Beaver County, and immediately activity started, at least for me. The first activity that happened, he hit the side of the house at nighttime while I was sleeping. It was directly behind my head, and I could hear a garbled voice. It just sounded like just something talking apparently to another one. And of course, I later learned that this is samurai chatter.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Bigfoot, how they talk. And he would do that, if I wasn't out in the family room, if I was asleep, he would bang on the wall. But if I was out in the family room with my dog, he would come and peek in the window or the patio door. My dog would be laying, that was her station, to always lay by the patio door staring outside. She apparently knew about him before I did. Whenever he was around, she would react in a particular way that I knew immediately that it was him. She would give a soft growl, mixture of a growl and a whine, just really soft and low. And then she would back up, crouching down, and just back up until she was huddled up as close as she could get against me and just shaking like a leaf.
Wow.
And this went on until we moved out in 2016. The one night he did that and she reacted in that way. I was fed up with it, and with I saw it as bullying her. She was a rescue border collie, and we had rescued her from. She apparently had been abused by her former owner, so she was already, very meek and mild around people, and but around animals, she was all gung ho. She'd go after the groundhogs and rabbits and anything else that would invade her territory. But whenever he was around, she would just panic and be terrified. And, I saw it as deliberate on his part to see her reaction and get his kicks out of it. And, so the one night, she was terrified. I got up, ran over to the back door. I had a golf club leaning there, and ran out the door, chased after him. I was hollering at him, saying, "You leave my dog alone."
Wow.
Brave. I was just
no
fed
kidding.
up. I was just fed up with it.
Yeah.
No, he ran off. Bullies always, they're cowards. So he ran off.
Mm-hmm.
He was probably more interested in what you guys were doing, what you were about than anything, and just snooping around, it sounds like. But yeah, that's a long time. You said from 2004 to 2016?
16, yes.
Of playing games.
A long time.
Yeah, I was fed up.
Yeah, people don't realize it, but Western Pennsylvania is really a big hot spot for sightings lately, and for a long time I'm hearing now. You don't think about it. It doesn't cross your mind. You think Pacific Northwest or, down in West Virginia or Virginia. But Ohio and Pennsylvania, that border area right there seems to be just abundant with sightings and stuff going on.
It honestly is. We go into Guernsey County, Coshocton County quite often also on our research trips. And it's crazy between the two, right along that border, Pennsylvania and Ohio. Greene County, Pennsylvania, Fayette County, all the way up to Mercer, Erie County, and very, very active.
What other instances have you had then? You said you had more than a couple. So
Yeah.
What else happened with you, Mary?
I was in Columbiana County, Ohio. My husband and I, we were house hunting, thinking of moving. And so, this was just over the line, the state line. And we were driving down Route 7 towards East Liverpool. And my husband was driving, and I was just looking out the window. It was a wooded area. This Bigfoot walked out of the woods across a dirt lane and into the woods on the other side. And this was just a couple seconds, as we passed through. I saw, his movement. And he was huge. He was pure black as far as I could tell. And just monstrously huge. And we drove down the road, and I asked my husband to turn around and go back. And whenever we got to that spot, I asked him to stop. And, I looked, to see, to run through my mind, what else could this have been? I'm going through my mind, okay, deer, no, definitely no. Bear, no, too big. And tree stump, no. Tree, no. Wouldn't be moving like that. A few months later, I followed up and went over there and saw that there was a game trail right where he was walking. But unfortunately, there was the entire landscape beyond that had changed. A company had come through and bulldozed up the entire area behind there and put a fence up, and so I couldn't go beyond that.
What did your husband say?
Well, at first I didn't say why I wanted him to turn around, but my husband kind of knows me by now, and and so he turned around and he stopped and he waited for me to explain, and he helped me rule out anything else that it may have been, and he's my sounding board and devil's advocate on this. And
he didn't see it?
No, he didn't see it. No, he was driving, and but he believes me. He's never seen a Bigfoot, never encountered anything, and but he believes in them because I know them. I'm not a believer, I'm a knower.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What happened in Oklahoma then? Or did something else happen before Oklahoma?
Probably. I've been on multiple expeditions and research trips and so on, in between all of this. My team and I, we go, we get sighting reports through the group, and we help the witnesses on their sightings, and we'll go and make sure that whatever they saw or signs that they've seen is truly Bigfoot related or possibly Bigfoot related. And out in Oklahoma, a friend of mine invited me to come out on a research trip, and there were about 14 of us, 13 or 14. We were there for a week. It was my sister and I. We drove out. I think there were about 7 vehicles total, and we were down in this area nicknamed Purgatory. It's an infamous area for Bigfoot sightings. We were there doing calls, and we had a pretty good night there. There were 3 of them coming in on us at one point in time from 3 different directions. Pretty unhappy.
That's not good.
No, it was interesting. But no, they stopped short. They those ones they stopped about 50 yards out, and they were behind bushes, and we could see the eyes shine. We could hear the movements and so on. Plus, we could. They were vocalizing all the way through, as they came in on us. We finished up there after things settled down, and we left there. And one of the guys was having problems with his truck. So we pulled over into a casino parking lot. All the other guys, they had their heads underneath the hood trying to figure out what's wrong. And there were 4 of us in our vehicle. It was my sister and I were riding with 2 other guys. Dave was the driver, and I was sitting behind him. And then Chuck was in the front passenger seat, and my sister was sitting behind him. Dave had never had a sighting, and my sister had never had a sighting at that point. Both Chuck and I had had multiple encounters. So we knew that no matter where you're at, even in a casino parking lot, you have to stay alert. Situational awareness.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as the vehicle stopped and Dave shut off the motor, both he and my sister got on their phones, and they're just playing words with total strangers or whatever games or whatever they do.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just looking out the window, and all of a sudden, here comes this Bigfoot from between the casino and the building next door, running across the brightly lit parking lot. This is 12:30 at night, through the pickup trucks and across the highway into the woods on the other side. Both Chuck and I saw it. Chuck said, "Did you see that?" And I said, "Yeah." It was a Bigfoot running across the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, he was booking it too. He was going fast. And we got out and told the leader of the group, and talked to him about it. And as it so happened, one of the security guards had come out, from the casino. She wanted to know why, all these vehicles were out there hanging out at the edge of the parking lot. And, I asked her, I said, "Do you have, security cameras covering your parking lot?" And she said, "Of course." And I told her, both Chuck and I told her what we had seen. And she said, "Yeah, I know. They're always here. They hang out around the dumpster around back. They feed out of there and find footprints and handprints around there all the time." She said, in fact,
Wow.
the other employees refused to take the garbage out at nighttime because of the Bigfoot. And I said, "Do you think that they'll share the footage with us?" And she said, "Absolutely no." She said, "This is a business. This is a casino. We want our clientele to continue to come here. We
Right.
don't want them to be afraid to come." That was okay. That would have been outstanding footage.
Wow. I mean,
Yeah,
It really
they're
would
not
have
going to
been.
give that up.
No,
this
no.
is actually kind of huge. So you're telling me this is in Oklahoma. There's a casino in Oklahoma, and we won't
There's casinos all over Oklahoma.
and we won't
Yeah.
we won't talk about the specific one on air, because what would
Right.
happen is you'd have a ton of people flocking to that casino
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
to
Oh,
try
yeah.
to spot these creatures running around over there. So they
Oh,
may
yeah.
they may want to think twice about releasing these cameras. I mean, if they've got these things on camera running around all over the place, there's some
Yeah.
big information there to go try to grab at these people.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Casino's not going to give that up.
No.
Is it
No.
on an Indian reservation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. There's
That's
casinos.
probably what all of
There's
them are.
reservations all over Oklahoma, and there's at least one casino on every reservation.
Okay.
So,
Wow. Was it running on 2 feet when it was
yes.
running away?
Yeah, he was bipedal and arms pumping and just running. Later on, whenever I got home, I went on Google Map and I brought it up and I found a piece of software where I was able to measure the distance on there from point A to point B. And both Chuck and I agreed it took this Bigfoot 3 seconds to run this distance. Just about, gauging from both of us, independently estimating approximately 3 seconds. So I was able to figure out approximately how fast he was running from point A to point B. And offhand, I can't recall the distance. I should have brought that up. Can you guess? Take a wild guess. What do you think? How fast do you think he was running?
Brian, go ahead. We'll both
no
guess.
idea.
I'm going to say 40 miles an hour.
No.
Go ahead, Brian. Take a guess.
Let's say 25, 30.
Okay, you're both wrong.
Okay.
52 miles an hour.
Wow.
52.
I believe it. We've heard these things are fast.
Yeah. The guy who was leading the expedition, he had a encounter about 10 years previous with an aggressive Bigfoot chasing he and a friend in a truck out of an area. And this thing was racing him in his truck, banging on the side of his truck, in fact, it dented his truck. And he said he was going 45 to 50 miles an hour, and this thing was right along with him.
I heard a story or an encounter one time where a girl was on a horse being chased by one, and it was keeping up with the horse almost. I mean, I don't know how fast horses can run, but yeah, this thing was keeping up with them pretty much. So.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got to ask, did you see any details of that one? Were you close enough or probably not, I'm guessing? As fast as it was running, you probably didn't see much.
All I could tell was that he was either dark brown. No, I think he was dark brown. And that's about it. He was too far away to see any features. He ran past the speed limit sign, so we can estimate he was around 8 foot tall. And that's about it.
Yeah, those casino parking lots are well lit too, so.
Yes, they have to be. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Man, I wish we could get a hold of that footage. That'd be awesome.
You and me both.
Well, we'll chat after we're done recording here. Maybe we can get some more insight on this. But why do you think it is, Mary, that you've been so, I guess, lucky to see so many of these creatures?
Lucky.
Yeah. I don't know. There's two different ways of looking at it. I can say that, with all of my encounters, both where I've seen them, seen glimpses of them, I've seen how they move, I've seen how they look, and so whenever I'm out, I know their movements. I recognize them immediately whenever I see them. And so I would say that would be possibly one reason. Another possible theory that others have come up with is that they can somehow tag certain people. And I've heard that could happen. I don't know. Perhaps the first one I saw tagged me. I don't know.
Interesting.
Any more encounters or interactions that you had other than those? Or I mean, that's a good resume, of course.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah, there's the last one yet.
Okay.
Whenever my husband and I moved, we built a new home. And while we were building it, in the foundation, the loose dirt, I found footprints in the loose dirt, so I knew that they were around. And this was different individuals. I found smaller footprints, perhaps 4 inches long. So I knew that there were small ones. There was a troop around, family around. Later on, I was sitting on my front porch with my dog, just enjoying the sunshine and the view. There's a field across the road from us. Sometimes there's cows out in their field. I honestly can't recall if there were cows in it that day or not. And at the back of that field, there's a wood line at the top of a hill. I'm sitting there enjoying the sunshine, looking across, and 3 deer come out of a game trail at the top of the hill from the trees. They came out and walked along the tree line and down the hill. And then behind them, a few seconds later, here comes a Bigfoot. He comes out, just following them, walking slow, not slowly, just walking, and just following them down the hill. And the deer cut into a game trail at the bottom, and he cut in, a few seconds behind them. And that was about it. Now, he was like a grayish brown color and about 7 to 9 foot tall. This was my closest view of him would have been, I would say about 70 yards thereabouts. Couldn't see any features. He was too far, but just that he was a grayish brown color. Now, I've seen him twice more since then, late at night. Whenever I take my dog out for last call, I'll put her out and then bring her back in. The one night I saw, he ran out from behind my house. Apparently he saw me, that I was there, standing there, and he cut over to my neighbor's home, which is about 100 yards away, and ducked into the shadow between the chimney and the house. So all I saw of him that night was just a bright flash of silver, in the moonlight, just a big, big flash. And then another night, I looked out. My neighbor's truck was out in the driveway, and I saw him standing next to the truck. His head was, I could see his head and shoulders, above the roof of the pickup truck. And
so he was a big one.
Yeah, big one. But again, he was too far to make out features.
Amazing and incredible,
Man.
all those.
Yeah.
If you were to see one again, would you feel like, oh yeah, another Bigfoot? Or do you still get kind of worked up, excited, scared, every time?
Excited every time. They're amazing creatures. And, the more you watch them, the more you learn, the different circumstances, thinking back on them, you pick out different details. And, you microanalyze, those little details. And you think, okay, what caused them to do this? What direction did they come from? Why did they come from that direction? And so on. It's a constant learning process. No matter what, anytime you see any sign, a footprint, a tree twist or a break or something, it's you analyze it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see why you started the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project now with all that interaction. Is that a place where people can go to your site and talk about their encounters and learn more about in that area or anywhere for that matter?
Yes, people are welcome to join the group. We're on Facebook, and my group is pretty well known for being a safe place for witnesses to come and talk about their sightings and encounters. We get a few trolls in there, and myself and my team of administrator and moderators take care of them fairly quickly. As soon as one rears his head, we boot them out.
Yep.
If one of the first rules is no ridicule, no harassment. You start to make a joke about someone's sighting. No, you're out.
Yep.
Don't blame you one bit. We're the same way with our group. So
Yeah, good.
Yep.
Yeah, another good thing about my team, my research, and so on is what we do is we share our findings with other research teams. Whatever we find, we put out there. We'll redact, of course, personal, witness names and precise locations, but we'll give general locations. And that way other people in the area can know, oh, okay, this is happening to me. I see it's happening to someone else similar. And the same with other research teams, separate teams. We all share our findings, unlike the larger not finding Bigfoot research organizations, etc., who hoard their findings and so on.
Right. So, Mary, if you had to write the definition or the Wikipedia of what Bigfoot is, what would you put?
Wow.
Well,
That's a tough one.
Observation and reading a heck of a lot about primates and speaking with primatologists and anthropologists, along with Dr. Melba Ketchum's findings of their DNA, their primate origin, and her findings support that, because their actions and their movements, everything, it hollers primate, non-human primate, like not chimpanzee, not bonobo, not gorilla, and not human, but somewhere in between, a total separate creature or hominin on that tree, along with something else. I don't know if you're familiar with Dr. Melba Ketchum's findings, but she found also Nephilim in their DNA. That is the fallen angels from the Bible in Genesis, who mated with human females. And I can see their reactions to certain stimulus that we have done experimenting. I can see that supports her findings. And I unfortunately can't go into that very much. But I do truly believe that they are, if not specifically Nephilim, then something similar to Nephilim.
Okay.
Something biblical.
Gotcha. That would explain their kind of, I don't know, what people call woo or the magical part of them, maybe?
Possibly, yeah. A lot of what they do is it's natural woodscrafts, natural camouflage that they have. Their hair is hollow and it gathers light, and it can gather the color from their surroundings and sort of camouflage them, as well as diffract the light. it's they have amazing camouflage abilities, and it's natural and scientifically explainable also, and that's what I go by. I go by science. They of course, they're the ninja of the woods.
Yeah.
They can fall flat in an instant. There's a graphic, computer graphic online. I have it on my group, and I can bump it up for you, and perhaps you can put it on your site. It's called the spider crawl, and they did an excellent version of this with their graphic, where the Bigfoot, they'll just drop down like a drop of water, basically, and go flat. And what they'll do is they'll crawl on their fingertips and their toes, and it's just the weirdest thing to look at.
Yeah, I'd like to see that if you could send that to us. Or
Yeah.
I've heard that story so many times too, about them doing that drop and that spider crawl, and it's weird to hear that.
Yeah.
From several people over and over and over. People aren't making that up if other people are talking about it, and they're saying the same thing about it. How it does that.
I would like to see it. I haven't seen it yet. From what I hear, it's creepy as heck.
Yeah, it would be.
But it's that, along with they will stand perfectly still. They'll go up against a tree or rocks or something and just stand perfectly still. And it's happened to me also. You stand perfectly still, people will pass right by you and not even see you. People are so unaware. They truly are, and especially nowadays. They have their heads buried in their phones, and they're so unaware.
Yeah, I think.
Unfortunately,
I think Bigfoot invented the cell phone so people would just stare at their phones and not look for them, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
So I'll cut that out. Well, Mary, we could talk about so much stuff. We appreciate you coming on and talking with us today. It's been an awesome conversation.
Yeah, those are quite the encounters. That's impressive.
Oh, thank you.
We'll be sure to let our guests know, and they can listen here and go to your group page and check that out too. And we'd like to see that reenactment video that you said you had of the Bigfoot crawling. So if you could send that to us, that'd be awesome.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I'll bump that up, and I'll tag Brian on it.
Okay. Well, you take care, and if anything else happens, get with us. Let us know what's happening over there.
Yeah, please.
Will do.
You're in a hot spot for sure.
I share everything on the group.
Okay.
In Pennsylvania, it's known as the third in the nation in Bigfoot reports.
Okay. I believe that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to start looking into more of some of those, I think, on our end too. So.
Yeah.
Yep,
well,
for sure.
Come along on one of our campouts.
Yeah, we'll have to make it out to one.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, please.
Sure.
We have them.
Do you guys have any festivals going on over in your area too?
Yeah, I think the next one is the Fayette County Bigfoot Symposium. That is in the Connellsville, Pennsylvania area, Fayette County. That is June 4th, I think. I'll have to double check on that. Unfortunately, I don't have that handy. It's on my calendar on the phone, and unfortunately, I can't get on there now.
Yeah, we can look it up and see what's going on. So
yeah, and then there's the big Forest County Bigfoot Festival. That's June 9, 10, and 11. That's in Marionville, Pennsylvania. I'll be speaking at both, and I'll have a booth set up also. So, come on by, say hi.
Yeah. If we can make it out, we will. And our listeners can make it there. That hopefully they can get out and see you too and introduce themselves.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again for being here with us. And you take care. Again, like if you see something or something else goes down, let us know. We'd love to hear it.
Will do. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Mary.
We'll see you.
You're listening to the Cryptid Creatures Podcast with Todd and Brian. If you've had an encounter and want to be on the show, email us at info@cryptidcreatures.co or leave a message at 888-5-DOG-MAN.
I can't imagine having that many encounters in your lifetime. It's to her, it seems like it's almost just, well,
Yeah.
and then this happened and this happened.
Yeah, it's almost like it's nothing now,
But she seemed pretty easygoing anyway, so she probably never really got, too worked up about anything, although I'm sure inside she
I don't know
was.
how you couldn't.
Right.
I
Good stories on her end. And,
Yeah.
Western Pennsylvania is not far. We always talk about getting out. We need to get out there and do something. Anyway,
For sure.
still got the website coming up in the future here. Can't wait to get that rolling.
Hopefully soon. We'll keep you all posted.
We appreciate the listens. If you guys haven't yet, please go to our YouTube channel and subscribe to that and help us grow there as well. We'd appreciate that.
That's right. Yep. Help us grow so we can bring you more awesome content.
Brian, I thank you again for hanging out with me as always, my friend.
Always fun, man.
All right, we'll get out of here. We'll see you later.
Yep. See ya.